The grand ballroom at Rosewood Manor glittered under cascading crystal chandeliers as I arranged white roses in tall silver vases, preparing for my sister Emma's wedding reception. 300 guests would soon celebrate in what many considered the most exclusive wedding venue in the county. I wore a simple black server's uniform, moving quietly between tables while the Thompson family bustled with pre-ceremony excitement. "David, stop puttering around like hired help and come get ready," my stepmother Patricia called out, adjusting her designer mother-of-the-bride dress. She'd never quite understood why her stepson chose manual labor, when the Thompson family name opened doors to prestigious careers. I continued placing centerpieces with methodical precision, ensuring each arrangement met the venue's exacting standards. The imported French roses had arrived that morning, their petals perfect despite the complex logistics required to source them. "Just making sure everything's perfect for Emma's big day," I replied quietly. My father, Robert Thompson, straightened his bow tie while reviewing the evening's timeline. At 58, he commanded respect as a successful corporate attorney, his client list including Fortune 500 companies and high-profile mergers. "That's exactly the problem, son. You're 31 years old, thinking like service staff instead of family." The comment drew murmurs of agreement from my brother Michael, a successful investment banker, and my sister-in-law Jennifer, who'd recently made partner at her accounting firm. They'd both embraced the Thompson tradition of professional excellence, while I'd apparently chosen a different path entirely. "Some people find their natural level early," my Uncle Charles observed, sipping champagne while watching me polish crystal glasses. "Nothing shameful about understanding your limitations in life." My cousin Rebecca, a prominent real estate attorney, nodded approvingly. "At least he's working instead of expecting family handouts. Better to contribute something than nothing at all." I methodically arranged silverware with practiced efficiency, each fork and knife positioned precisely 1 inch from the table edge. My phone buzzed with a text from my operations director. "Nashville acquisition closing Monday. Board wants expansion timeline for West Coast properties. Emergency at the Phoenix location needs immediate attention." "You know what David's problem is?" Patricia announced to the gathered relatives. "No vision for real achievement. He's content being invisible, serving successful people instead of joining their ranks." My Aunt Margaret raised her mimosa in agreement. "Exactly. Look around this venue, David. Rosewood Manor cost $60,000 just for a Saturday evening. This is where winners celebrate life's milestones." The Rosewood Manor sparkled around us, its Georgian architecture featuring hand-carved moldings, imported marble floors and oil paintings worth more than most people's homes. Every detail reflected the kind of timeless elegance that required both substantial investment and impeccable taste to achieve. "The attention to detail here is remarkable," commented Emma's new mother-in-law, surveying the opulent surroundings. "You can tell this place has serious money behind it. Probably some hotel conglomerate or investment group. Regular people don't own properties like this." "Definitely institutional ownership," agreed Dr. Williams, a successful surgeon who'd known our family for decades. "This level of luxury requires tens of millions in capital investment. The grounds maintenance alone probably exceeds most people's annual salaries." I continued working silently, ensuring every aspect of Emma's celebration would meet the standards I'd established when I acquired the property 3 years ago. The hand-selected antiques, restored hardwood floors, and custom lighting design had required 18 months of careful renovation to achieve perfection. "David should observe how real business operates," Robert suggested, gesturing around the magnificent ballroom. "Maybe he could learn something about proper management instead of just working at those hotels downtown." Speaking of which, Michael addressed me directly while checking his Cartier watch. "How's the hotel work progressing?" "Still coordinating events and managing staff. Event planning and venue operations," I replied simply, adjusting a floral arrangement. "Same difference," he dismissed with a wave. "Service work with an elevated title. At least you're consistently employed, which counts for something." The conversation flowed around me as I moved efficiently through my preparations, invisible to my family despite working just feet away. They discussed stock portfolios, legal strategies, medical procedures, the familiar soundtrack of their achievement-focused discussions while I ensured their celebration remained flawless. "You know what David really needs? Jennifer announced with the confidence of someone who just earned partnership at a Big Four accounting firm. A realistic assessment of what genuine success looks like. He's living in denial about the difference between serving excellence and creating it. Some people are natural followers, Charles nodded with authority. Nothing wrong with accepting your role in the hierarchy. The hospitality industry requires workers at every level. My phone buzzed again. This time it was my acquisitions team. Napa Valley Vineyard Estate approved by shareholders. Needs CEO authorization for final documentation. Also, the mayor's office wants to discuss the waterfront development project. I silenced the device and continued working. The reality is, Margaret continued, David could achieve more if he properly applied his intelligence. He has Thompson genetics. He simply lacks the ambition to leverage them for meaningful success. Meaningful success requires meaningful sacrifice, Michael added, swirling his aged whiskey thoughtfully. Business school was demanding, but observe the results. Respected position, substantial income, membership at exclusive venues like this. That's what happens when you refuse to accept mediocrity. Robert raised his crystal tumbler in a paternal toast. To Emma's wedding day and to all of us who've worked diligently to earn our place at celebrations like this. May we never forget that true achievement comes to those who demand excellence from themselves. The family raised their glasses in harmony, the crystal singing softly as they touched together. I observed from my position at the service station, noting how the afternoon light caught the amber spirits, how the baccarat crystal reflected the warm glow streaming through stained glass windows. And David, Robert added with fatherly authority, perhaps someday you'll comprehend what it means to aspire beyond serving other people's accomplishments. The words lingered in the manor's pristine air as I folded linen napkins with mechanical precision. Each crease was exact, each corner perfectly aligned. The expertise came from years of hospitality experience, though my family interpreted it as evidence of my limited potential. He probably considers this impressive, Patricia whispered audibly. Working at an exclusive venue, being around accomplished people. But there's a fundamental difference between serving luxury and creating it. The venue's general manager, Elizabeth Carter, approached our gathering with professional grace. Her movements reflected years of managing high-profile events, understanding that discretion and excellence were equally important when serving elite clientele at prestigious properties. Good afternoon, Elizabeth addressed the family with practiced warmth. I trust all preparations are proceeding smoothly for Ms. Thompson's wedding? Absolutely exceptional, Robert replied, relaxed from premium spirits and familial pride. This venue represents everything we value about quality and tradition. You should feel honored to work for such a distinguished establishment. Thank you, sir, Elizabeth smiled professionally. We take immense pride in maintaining the highest standards. In fact, today marks a particularly significant milestone for our organization. Oh, Emma asked with curious interest, her wedding dress rustling softly. Yes, we're expecting several important announcements regarding our expansion strategy. Our ownership has been growing aggressively, and today represents a major achievement in that development. The family exchanged intrigued glances. Robert leaned forward with businessman's instincts. Expansion? That's impressive in today's competitive market. Requires serious capital and strategic vision. Exceptional vision, Elizabeth confirmed. Our owner has developed a remarkable portfolio of premium venues across multiple regions, all maintaining this caliber of excellence. Patricia practically beamed with fascination. How thrilling to witness such entrepreneurial success. The owner must possess extraordinary business acumen. I continued my preparations silently, replacing water goblets and adjusting the imported orchid centerpieces. The flowers had been specially cultivated in Costa Rica, their exotic beauty adding natural elegance to the ballroom's formal sophistication. My family remained completely engrossed in their conversation with Elizabeth, unaware they were discussing my life's achievement. The owner must experience tremendous pressure, Michael mused. Operating multiple luxury properties while maintaining these standards requires CEO-level capabilities. Actually, Elizabeth replied with a knowing smile, our owner manages pressure exceptionally well. Very hands-on, very detail-oriented. He's been here all afternoon, personally ensuring everything exceeds his exacting standards. How dedicated, Margaret observed approvingly. That level of personal involvement is rare in today's corporate environment. My phone vibrated with an urgent message from my board of directors. Quarterly meeting moved to 5 p.m. European acquisition requires immediate approval. Legal team standing by for signature authorization. I glanced at the notification and looked toward the Manor's executive offices. The venue buzzed with subtle anticipation as staff recognized that today's celebration would include significant business announcements. Servers moved with extra precision, each interaction calibrated to perfection. The grounds crew had manicured every blade of grass to competition standards. You know what's fascinating? Michael said, contemplating his whiskey thoughtfully. The owner probably began exactly where David is now. Learning hospitality from foundational levels, understanding every operational detail. The difference, Robert interjected decisively, is vision and execution. The owner possessed the intelligence to perceive larger possibilities and the determination to achieve them. David seems satisfied with his current limitations. Maybe David simply needs better inspiration, Jennifer suggested diplomatically. Observing what becomes possible when someone truly commits to excellence. The conversation was interrupted by urgent movement near the Manor's main entrance. Several executives in impeccable business attire approached our section, their presence commanding immediate attention from the venue staff. They moved with measured confidence characteristic of people accustomed to making decisions affecting millions of dollars. Elizabeth straightened as the group approached. Ladies and gentlemen, she announced to our gathering, I'd like you to meet the executive board of Thompson Venue Holdings. My family fell silent, suddenly recognizing they were witnessing serious corporate authority. Robert set down his whiskey with careful precision, his legal experience recognizing the gravity of the moment. The lead executive, a distinguished gentleman named Harrison Wells, surveyed the wedding preparations before addressing Elizabeth. Is Mr. Thompson available? The board has assembled for our emergency session regarding the Phoenix property crisis. Certainly, Elizabeth replied, then turned toward me with professional respect. Mr. Thompson, your board of directors is ready. The revelation struck my family like perfectly timed thunder, illuminating everything they believed about success, achievement, and their own son's position in the world. Emma's face went pale beneath her wedding makeup, her bouquet trembling in her hands. Harrison Wells continued, oblivious to the family dynamics unfolding nearby. Congratulations on another exceptional quarter, Mr. Thompson. The 9-venue portfolio now generates over $400 million in annual revenue, with recent acquisitions surpassing all projections. I adjusted my server's apron and nodded calmly. Thank you, Harrison. What's the nature of the Phoenix emergency? Kitchen fire at the flagship location. No injuries, but we need immediate authorization for emergency renovations and guest relocations to our backup facilities. 9 venues. Patricia whispered, her voice barely audible above the classical music. Thompson Venue Holdings operates premier wedding and event facilities across 6 states, Harrison confirmed, with aggressive expansion plans for international markets. Mr. Thompson has revolutionized the luxury event experience while maintaining the personal attention that distinguishes each property. Michael's investment banking confidence evaporated as he grasped the scale of what he'd just discovered. His recent promotion suddenly seemed insignificant compared to building and operating a multi-state hospitality empire before age 35. I should mention, I said calmly to Harrison, that today's celebration is my sister Emma's wedding. We're using this as an opportunity to showcase our service standards to family and friends. Excellent strategy, Harrison smiled warmly. Family celebrations provide the perfect demonstration of our commitment to creating unforgettable experiences. Robert had become completely speechless, his legal expertise somehow inadequate for processing that his son had built a business empire while the family criticized his supposed lack of ambition. Mr. Thompson, Harrison continued, Forbes wants a statement about your expansion strategy. This makes you the youngest entrepreneur to control a venue portfolio of this magnitude on the East Coast. My phone buzzed with notifications from my CFO, my legal counsel, my operations managers across multiple states. The business empire I'd constructed while my family assumed I was just working hotels, required constant strategic decisions and leadership oversight. "If you'll excuse me," I said to my stunned family, "I have an emergency board meeting that requires immediate attention. Elizabeth will ensure Emma's reception proceeds flawlessly." As I walked toward the Manor's executive conference room, I heard Robert whisper urgently to Patricia, "How long has he been building this? How did we completely miss it?" The answer naturally was years. Years during which they'd been too busy explaining my limitations to recognize my achievements, too confident in their assumptions to question their understanding, too focused on traditional career paths to notice excellence that didn't match their expectations. Emma's wedding celebration would continue in the magnificent ballroom, but the family dynamic had irrevocably shifted. The same crystal chandeliers would cast the same romantic light, the same orchestra would play the same beautiful music, and the same luxury would surround them as before.